Hi, art historians. We are moving on to week 5, and we are in module 9, part 1. So this module is all about Incan culture, which I'm so excited for. I'm really pumped to share about some of this artwork with you, and you'll see why in just a second. So this video may be just like a little bit longer, just because I'm so excited. The unit's materials are titled Module 9. We've got Indigenous America Part 2, as well as the European Renaissance Part 1, which we'll talk about in the next unit. And we are looking at Indigenous Americas 2, 9.01 Incan Culture. So the reason I'm so excited for teaching you about this is because I had the opportunity to go to Peru at the end of July and the beginning of August. For this unit, we've got 4 core works and 4 supplemental works. The supplemental works very much connect with the first one that's listed, Cusco. So before we get into that, let's talk about the date range. We've got about 1400 to 1570 CE, and all of these pieces are located in and around Peru. So our architectural sites include Machu Picchu. We've also got small-scale works like a miniature female effigy, the Incan quipu, and the Altoquipu tunic. And your supplemental works include Cusco, Coricancha, the maize cob, and Sacsayhuaman. It's a hard one to say. So I went to Cusco on July 28th, and I spent about 8 days in the city. It used to be the capital of the Incan Empire. It is laid out to represent the animal of the puma, which is an animal that they very much worshipped and honored. But interestingly enough, the condor is actually the main animal of focus in different representations that you'll see on all these different sites around the city. So Cusco is a lively city. It feels like a little bit more of a less developed Rome, cobblestone streets everywhere, lots of culture. The food was amazing. I had lamb, guinea pig, and alpaca all in the same meal, and it was all delicious. I will say that the potatoes and the gnocchi that they make is outstanding. They've got some great sauces. It was really fun. If you ever get the chance to go to Cusco, I cannot recommend it enough. You get to see a lot of really amazing culture in regards to all of the museums that they have. They've got multiple Incan museums and pre-Columbian, as well as museums with some of the more modern artwork coming out of this area of the world. And it was a really fun place to explore. So while we were in Cusco, we got the chance to go to Coricancha, which is a temple left over when the colonists from Spain came and started to take over. They did not necessarily demolish this particular site like they would have with others, but they buried it and then built on top of. So that's why it's so well preserved. A lot of really interesting ashlar masonry is happening in Peru and with the Incans. So this is a type of construction where we've got bricks that fit exactly into each other, blocks of stone, huge blocks of stone. I mean, we've got some smaller scale ones in some of those temples, but larger scale ones for the ones that were used at Sacsayhuaman, which we'll get to. So these bricks or these blocks of stone are carved so perfectly, they do not need any kind of concrete mortar in between. It is rock to rock. There is even a rock that was constructed or carved with 12 sides to fit so exactly into this wall. Ironically enough, this amazing piece of history is directly across from one of the cheapest souvenir spots I could find, but hey, I'm a thrifty shopper, so I don't know what to say. So in addition to Coricancha, we've also got the maize cob, which is a really interesting piece of to scale artwork that is meant to show the importance of the corn to these people. Sacsayhuaman is a nearby site that is a huge wall that would have protected the citadel created by a ruler. But let's get to the most important site and really why I went to Peru in the first place, which was Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu was discovered by Hiram Bingham in 1991, actually rediscovered. It was discovered by an ancient Peruvian, well, not quite so ancient, and then a few Peruvian families actually lived there for a while before Hiram Bingham actually rediscovered it. And so the reason that Machu Picchu is such an important site is because it was left virtually untouched. Now, we don't have a ton of relics that came from this area, as it was more used as a retreat for the king. Pachacuti was his name. He was the 9th king of the Incan Empire, and if you listen to any of the tour guides in Peru, they will tell you he was the best and like basically the only ruler they ever consider. Pachacuti was the best, everyone else sucked, and that's what I I was told over and over again. Machu Picchu is located about a 4-hour trip away from Cusco. So if you fly from where I am in New York to Lima, and then we flew over to Cusco, and then we took a bus for 2 hours through the most gorgeous views I've ever seen, and then we went to the Incan Rail, which is a train that takes you directly from Ollantaytambo to Aguas Calientes, which is also called Machu Picchu Pueblo, aka Machu Picchu Town. And so once we got there, we got to explore a little bit. The views from where I was sitting just for a casual lunch was insane. You're literally next to a mountain. It was wild. And then we woke up at 5:30 and we did the 2-hour trek up to Machu Picchu. So this is about 1,600 stairs. It was as difficult as it sounds. They were very steep steps. But what was really amazing is that there was this sense of almost entering a cloud and then exiting a cloud as you went up each of the levels. So that experience was amazing. My brother and I did it in about an hour and a half, not without difficulty. I was huffing and puffing the whole time, but our agreement was that unless somebody threw up or passed out, we were going to do it. And we did. So we got to the top, and then you get to enter the Machu Picchu site itself, which was just out of this world. The clouds dissipated once our entry time for the site came around. We went to Circuit 2. If you need any advice on how to do Machu Picchu, please reach out, because there are some little insider things that I didn't discover until almost too late. For example, Circuit 2 is the best circuit to take, and there are multiple different ones, some that give you those iconic views and some that don't. Machu Picchu was this royal retreat. The Incans walked and hiked for 11 days to try to find this site, and they liked it, and so they started building. There are multiple levels. There are alpacas and llamas that live right there, and it was absolutely glorious. Add it to your bucket list. It was so cool. So I think this is a good time to wrap up my discussion of Incan culture. I highly, highly encourage you to check out the supplemental works, since there are so few core works for this particular unit, and it'll enrich your studies of the Incan Empire and all of those sites. And definitely check out my photos that I'm going to post as well. So I'm wrapping up the longest information video, and I look forward to seeing you all when we get right into the Renaissance. We'll start with the Northern Renaissance next. Bye, everyone.